I think early on, too many founders want to go into marketing. They want to have inbound leads. They want to have people coming to their website, wanting to buy their stuff and things like that. The number one thing that I see is to just go build relationships with the people that you want to be selling this to. It's not as a scalable of a thing. Like, yes, you should eventually get into marketing. You should get into paid ads. You should get into, sales funnels and things like that. But that costs a lot early on. You don't have the runway. The easiest, go to networking events, right? Go get on LinkedIn and start connecting with those people. Just go start doing that, building that out, prove it. And then you can have some cash flow and some extra profit in there. And then you can start to say, okay, now I can invest some of that. But people want to go into marketing too fast and they sit around and they end up with no clients because they don't want to put themselves out there. They don't want to go outwards. They want to bring it all inwards, but then they spend all their time, well, what should this webpage say? And what should this, because they don't have the funds to hire a copywriter. They don't have the funds to hire an ad person. They don't have the funds to do, or to have a runway on getting your ads to be profitable or that kind of stuff. It's like, just go start conversations. Like, you can send 200 connection requests on LinkedIn, go start a conversation, call people up, give them a call, go to networking events with the people that are going to be there, go do the stuff that just puts because you're going to build referral partners. You're going to build clients who trust you and like you even more. They want to know your journey of how you're building the app because they like the software or whatever that you're doing. They like what you built. They also like to know the journey of how you built it, right? And why you're building it. And what other things are you doing and thinking about and things like that. And people just connect with you more that way.
Welcome to another episode of Founders Growth. My name is John Hill, aka Small Mountain. I'm the founder of Adapted Growth. Today, we have a very cool friend of mine, Braden, who is the CEO and founder of Hypersocial. Known him for years. We've been just friends. We've got some cool stuff to dive into, but Braden, can you take a second and kind of talk, for anyone who doesn't know who you are, what you guys do and how you help?
Sure. Yeah. So been doing this now. Wow. I guess since 2019, Hypersocial's been, we do everything LinkedIn for people. So on the B2B side, we work with mostly small businesses, B2B owners, helping them get leads, conversations, relationships, more importantly, on the LinkedIn platform. So it's a great place for B2B, and we just help them take it off their plate all day, every day. So simplest, shortest, sweetest thing I can do. Now, outside of work, there's way more important stuff like soccer and pickleball now, I guess, and traveling and hanging out with my dog and stuff. But yeah, on the business side, that's what we do.
That's honestly kind of like how we connected, right? Because I think we got connected on Facebook, just like being entrepreneurs and like in the space and everything. And you were showing up as a real human. And that's one of the things that I appreciate with digital network people who can kind of flesh themselves out a little bit and not just be the business that they're trying to grow or.
Yeah, I think there was always the work to live, not live to work connection that we had. Cool. Yeah.
Okay. So let's just dive into that, right?
Sure.
Because
let's dive into it.
There's, when we met, you were actually doing van life, which is a very cool thing, right? Living on the road 24/7. And there is also this whole other thing of hustle mode and 80-hour work weeks and sleep when you're dead and everything else like that. How did you navigate those two ideas? Because in our conversations, I know you to be very driven and very, very focused on the things that you want. So was that difficult for you?
In the van, it was actually not. We were in the most beautiful places. Like, we did 29 national parks in the van, and we went to Mexico in the van, and we did so many states and all these different places. And we did it for 3 years. But when you're parked at a beautiful spot like Yosemite or on the beach of Mexico or things like that, it makes you like, I want to keep living this life, but I also want to enjoy it while I'm here, right? Because, we have to move. We can only stay in a spot for so many days in a lot of places and have to move and things like that. So it actually made me more productive during the 8 hours, knowing that I needed to keep doing the stuff that was making us and keep working so I could keep going to the beach afterwards and hanging out with my dog Roscoe, and then I could go on a date night or whatever. Like, I think I was actually way better at work to live versus now it's like, I bought a house. Well, now we're renting a house. We're selling our house, but that's why my hand's all dirty. By the way, sorry, people. We're finalizing the renovations.
About
they're like, what the heck's on his hand? It's like goop. I don't even know what. It's black paint from something. But yeah, so now it's like, especially now that it's getting cold outside where we live, it's like I could just work an extra couple hours. I could, it doesn't.
Oh yeah,
it's like
super easy.
But before but I don't get as much out of my each hour if I don't give myself that hard stop, right? I used to just have a hard stop because we were going to go play on the beach, or we're going to go run around, or we're going to get our paddle boards or whatever. I had something to look forward to at the end of the day, had to get my stuff done. Now I'm like, I could delay my time a little bit, and sure, I can work an hour after 5 o'clock, and I can work an hour after 6 o'clock, and then you kind of just like let it stretch out. We've been pushing a lot harder to get ourselves back to what we had before, and pushing things to be excited about even here in the same kind of routine. But it was definitely easier back then, for sure, I think.
I a lot of my work is getting people to understand that that is the better way to work. Like, don't talk yourself, especially as a founder, don't talk yourself into the idea that you must do this thing, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
the diminishing returns thing is such an important thing to just be aware of, right? And I was super lucky because like I learned about it whenever I was a poker player and I was trying to play 12 tables and my coach was like, maybe 8 because like maybe you can't play as and he was showing it to me there. And so then whenever I hit this lane of like trying to take sales actually seriously, I'm like, oh, same thing. I need to be on. I need to be ready. I need to be prepared.
Mm-hmm.
And but it comes down to having it locked and having it loaded, but also having something else compelling and important, right?
That's right.
Like I see a lot of people, especially in the early days, they're almost like telling themselves that they can't put anything else into their lives, right? And
Mm-hmm.
it's like there is room to do both. You need to be hyper focused and disciplined and really driven to go do this thing and be consistent about how you're spending your time. But like, you don't have to become like chained to it. And I think a
Yeah.
lot of people overthink that part because, and here's the really weird part, if they're that excited about it and it still fails, it's not really their fault.
Right.
Right. Like
Right.
there's some interesting stuff about that whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
But
It's interesting, but then people like I see a lot of founders, same thing, right? And they get so, but then they stop doing the. You can be more productive in 8 hours than you can be in 10 hours over like every. Basically, if you were to look at it from like we track our employees' times, and if the employees that we see they work 8 hours a day, or Emily and I are tracking our time, we're seeing we're getting way more out of like the output of eight
mhm,
hours versus trying to work 10 or 11 hours. But then you can't just like there's so many aspects that make you successful, right? And if you get out of that, you stop building relationships with your friends, and you stop going to the
yeah,
gym, and you stop playing sports, and you stop having hobbies, and you're not taking care of your like all of your well-beings, right? Your spiritual and your physical and your stuff that leads to better mind to do better work here.
100%. Like,
It's tough. Like it's a tough thing to like think of because you're like, I'm not, especially early on when you're not making money and you don't have a lot coming in and you're trying to make sure that it's proven.
mhm,
It's hard to step away from the computer, but it's crazy what happens. Like so many problems get solved
mm,
when you step
yeah.
away from the problem and you're just let your subconscious just go to work.
Yeah, and honestly, force yourself to do it,
Yeah.
right? Like, go to the soccer game, go to the gym, go do something.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also super like, I was on a call last week, and I was talking with one of my clients, and I was like, "Okay, so next week," and they're like, "Well, kinda busy right now." I heard, like, "Okay, should we sit down and build a plan? I'm too busy to even build a plan." I'm like, "Okay." Like, like, there's always room to, like, want to think that you must thrive in the scramble, but
Mm-hmm.
most people aren't actually super productive in the scramble, you
Right.
know?
Right.
So, okay, I have a question for you that I've been curious about the whole time, right?
Okay.
The entire time I've known you and geeking out on your van life, trek and everything. And then from my perspective, right, I kinda look up and you're done with van life, you're home, you're buying a house and everything else like that. Were you excited to be done with van life? Was it just kind of like a season of change? Was it like, "Hey, we're gonna go do this full time," but it didn't live up? Like, I'm curious, how did you feel when you were coming back out of it?
We did so when we were starting Hypersocial and we did van life. The greatest part of van life is it is so cheap. Like by the time we'd finished, we had money saved. Like even like in the early days of Hypersocial, when we weren't making a lot, we had a few clients and we were growing it, and we still had the van. And we put debt on the van because it was all built out and it was a
Mhm.
$90,000 whatever van. Um, but by the end of it, we had no debt besides just our monthly van payment. Like all the debt was gone, but it was so cheap that we like allowed ourselves. So the reason that we stopped doing the van one was because it was too small for two of us plus a dog to
Mhm.
like, and we were working in a boat doing calls, and it was just a small space. So one of us always had to go outside. Usually me had to go outside to do like my calls and stuff, which is fine. I enjoyed it. But then we were like, well, we need to start actually building wealth
Mm.
too along the way, right? And so my parents have always been in real estate. They just bought a 113 unit apartment complex
Oh.
there. So they've always been in real estate. So that's always one of the things that I've wanted to pursue too. So we bought the house thinking that like, we're going to live in it for the year, do the stuff, and then renovate. But the other piece is we just wanted to stop going so much, especially in the small van. So we're going to probably try to do it again, but maybe a bigger RV this time, like an actual full
Oh,
camper, fifth wheel with the toy hauler. So the toy hauler in the back will be my office, and I'm going to have her office somewhere so we can actually have the space. People need space away from each other. I mean, to be
yeah.
in an 80 square foot space van with one person all the time puts a lot of challenges up there, right? So there's a lot of benefits that have come from like our
Yeah.
relationship. I think has improved a lot. Like we probably spent more time together in the van, like hours together because we worked together and we were living together in the tiny van. We probably spent more hours together in the 3 years we were in that than most couples spend together in like 10 years, right? Because they go to their
100%.
jobs and things like that. But then our relationship improved a lot because we had our own space once we had a house where she could go if we need, or argument about work or, whatever that comes up, or just she wants to just be alone because she's more of an introvert than I am, then cool. She can go do that and not have me there being the annoying person that I am all the time. She can get away from that,
Yeah.
So we're excited. We're both kind of ready to go on the road again. I think it's
Interesting. So,
yeah.
huh. I love the idea of like, okay, this isn't it, but then still being open to what needs to change so it can be the thing.
Yeah.
Like, the idea of going bigger, I don't think a whole lot of people would kind of like think about it that way. It's just like, well, van was kind of confining. We were all over each other. It's just not for us.
Yeah.
That's
And the
really
other thing that
interesting.
happened, like at the end of our van travel, was Starlink just came about, and we did not have
Oh,
Starlink in the van, so we had to
how did you
find
go without Starlink?
it was hotspots, and so I was using like 40 different like there's a bunch of apps that you can get to call like iOverlander and things like that would people would say, hey, here's a free spot to stay, and here's service level, and I would actually like cross reference that with like cell phone towers and that kind of stuff.
Holy
Just
smokes!
we had a hotspot and it was great and it worked well, but that was actually one of our biggest like stressors was we would try to get to a new spot, and if there wasn't service, we had to try and go find another new spot and another spot. But with Starlink, there's so many places we could have just stayed and
Huh.
had internet. Like we went to the middle of Oregon, Starlink was working, and I had 150 megabits per second download speed. Like
Whoa,
plenty, not as much as I have at my house, but plenty that you need to do work. So yeah,
interesting.
that's two big things that we would have for next time. And Starlink is so cool.
So I'm going back a little bit, right? Because
Yeah.
whenever we got connected, you were already running this thing. You're already in the van. I'm curious as to the timeline. Like, was it hypersocial Emily van? Was it Emily hypersocial van? How did that
Yeah, good
come
question.
together?
So I had the old hypersocial where we did Instagram marketing before we did the new one.
Oh, okay,
And while I was doing that one, that's when I was, that was 2016, 2017, 2018 is when I met Emily. I was still doing the old hypersocial.
okay,
So, and then Emily graduated from Ohio State in 2019 with her master's. And I said, hey, instead of do that, I want to make us change to hypersocial anyways, because I want to get out of Instagram and I want to go back into B2B and to LinkedIn where we've had a ton of success for ourselves. I want to go do that there. And then, so hypersocial and van were really the new hypersocial and the van were around similar time, about 2 years into dating Emily. Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Where did you spring it on her? Of
Oh,
like,
yeah.
hey, come work with me.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I, I did a
She
similar thing with
regrets it
my
to this
wife,
day.
right?
Just kidding.
So, okay, I would love to kind of talk a little bit about the shift back, right? I didn't know about the Instagram like place of focus and everything.
hmm
What made you want to shift back or shift back to B2B this direction? Was it just like something in the air? Were you seeing signals? Like what was making you want to pivot?
Yeah. So, I mean, I come from a B2B sales background, and like that's the world that I know. And Instagram was a lot more fashion blogger clients and things like that, and the worlds
Mhm.
that I just do not really know or like I'm a t-shirt and shorts every day. Like this is like the nicest, fanciest thing I got, and it's just a whatever these things are called, a jacket. Um, and so yeah, I wanted to get out of that world, but we had such good success with LinkedIn for myself, and like I could see a much clearer return on the investment for
Mm,
people too. Like
mhm.
Instagram, I was helping them get followers and things like that, and it was like hard to correlate how that turned into. It was vanity metrics,
Yeah.
right? And I don't
Mhm.
care. I'm not a person. I don't care about vanity metrics. I don't care how many likes my crap gets. I don't care about like I care about what I'm doing. Is it somehow contributing to a bottom line on the way? And
Mhm.
that's what most businesses care about, right? They don't want to pay for. And then the agency world has changed, period, because so many agencies are just out there for vanity metrics. And people are, especially when COVID hit, people are like, I need marketing agencies or agencies like mine who can really clearly say, hey, here's what your spend was, here's what your return was. It becomes very kind of obvious there. So I think that was the big things, which and then Instagram was also making a lot of platform changes too. Like they've like shut down a whole bunch of meme accounts that people were like paying for ads. You know, you could pay for a shout out from a $100,000 meme account, and they shut down a bunch of those because they were just trying to monetize their ad network, their ads. Anything else that was monetizing on LinkedIn, on Instagram, they wanted out. So automation, they basically got rid of completely. Those kinds of pages that were getting paid for shout outs and that kind of stuff, they got rid of too, because they just wanted you to pay the $5 to boost your post instead. So
interesting.
Yeah,
okay.
There's a lot of things at once.
So, okay, this is an interesting question, because recently what I've been seeing is that there's been companies getting yanked off of like LinkedIn, right? You know, like I think Apollo was one, right? And so there was concerns that like companies that were scraping data, grabbing data, different things like that. When you see stuff like that and you're working in the LinkedIn space, does it make you nervous? Does it like, or is it just kind of, this is just how it works? We're just keep going.
That's such an interesting question that I've never even thought of an answer to. So I have to think of an answer right now to this. This is like live in the flesh. We have to think about this. So
I don't think it's, I mean, I think it's stupid, the whole terms of service about like, you know, limiting access to the accounts and everything, because like no one follows it anyway, you know?
Right.
But, you know, there is this, you know, there is some danger, right? If you have a profile that's got some longevity on it, you've got some connections and everything else like this, and you know, you might be using technology that gets you blacklisted or something else like that. But I'm not saying that you are doing it unscrupulously or anything. But when that stuff happens, do you get nervous when it kind of hits like a critical mass of people talking about it, or do you even see these conversations? Do they show up in your feed and algorithm when you're talking to people?
The Apollo one plus other XYZ one was interesting because it was LinkedIn sued these companies that were scraping.
Yeah.
But they were scraping all the personal emails, the emails that you signed up for your account with. That's what they were scraping out, and that's what LinkedIn wanted to stop.
Oh, that's fascinating.
So Apollo, and actually LinkedIn lost the lawsuit. They didn't win.
Did they really?
They didn't win. Yeah. I was just chatting about with somebody about this the other day, that LinkedIn didn't win those lawsuits. So I think Apollo, I don't know if LinkedIn blocked Apollo. I never really like followed it that hard, or if Apollo just took themselves off of LinkedIn and said, okay, if you're going to sue us and get mad at us for this, we're not going to use your freaking platform, right? Yeah. So I'm not sure exactly what happened where on that side, but I know, and I don't even know if Apollo was one of the ones that LinkedIn sued. I'm pretty sure they were, but LinkedIn sued a bunch of companies that were doing this scraping of the personal profiles. Because really, what do you need people's Gmails and Yahoos and Hotmails for? Not in the B2B world, you don't really need them, right? Yeah. You just need to figure out how they set up their emails at their company. Is it first dot last name? Is it first name? Is it first dot last initial? And you just plug that in for everybody else that you need. Like that's how it all kind of is built now. You don't need those scrapes.
Yeah, I loathe the cell phone text message, and we don't have any relationship. And honestly, I've got my system set up to where my LinkedIn account or my LinkedIn email is not my main actual work email, right? And so that way, if I am getting I know who's doing it, you know. But so okay.
So there are things that a couple of years ago, so when COVID hit, it was awesome. We were able to send 100 connection requests a day on LinkedIn back then.
The
glory days. The glory days.
Just tilt it. Just full tilt.
And then it was really scary for a while. LinkedIn made a lot of changes because so many people came to LinkedIn and there was so much. It
was like 100 a week.
It was 100 a week, but they brought it down a little bit, and they brought it down a little bit more, and then they were trying to figure out the balance of that. But it was because so many people came to the platform and we're just doing the worst outreach, the laziest outreach. I had somebody who said, I work with B2B owners, agencies, founders. It was the most generic message I could have ever got. I think I screenshotted it somewhere, but there were so many people who were just going on and putting the laziest amount of effort into their outreach that everybody was complaining about how much spam there was on the platform. So LinkedIn was like, we need to do something because people are wanting to stop being on here. it was scary then because we were selling people on packages that were, hey, we're going to send 2,100 connection requests a month on your behalf, guaranteed, right? Which is
Yeah.
less than 100 a day, but still, like it was way more. LinkedIn's finally found the perfect balance because I think when they went to 100 a week, I think a lot of people canceled Sales Navigator.
Oh yeah.
Right. That's the one thing that LinkedIn has done. Like, so when it was Instagram and we were doing automation, Instagram only monetized their platform through paid ads, right? That's with Facebook and Instagram. That's their main way of making money. So they don't want you to automate things because they want you to pay for their ad platform. Well, LinkedIn was smart enough to figure out premium accounts that says, hey, we don't care what you do as much because we're still making money off of your account existing, right? Because you're paying us for Sales Navigator. So I think when they went to 100 connection requests a week as the limit, I think so many people canceled Sales Navigator off the cuff and they were like, oh, crap.
That's fascinating.
Like that's a big thing there. So we're at a now like a great balance with LinkedIn where they have like hard limits in place. There's like before it used to be like soft limits. Like you used to just like get a warning from LinkedIn and if you didn't have premium or things like that, hey, you need to stop doing this. And now it's like I guarantee LinkedIn knows that we operate. They know that the automation happens, but it's hard capped anyway. So we can't use it to spam people. We can't use it to do all the things that we're making LinkedIn not a great place. Like we were always trying to make it a better place anyways with the messaging that we put forward and that kind of stuff. But now there's a hard cap. So like you have to be more, anybody who's doing outreach needs to be more targeted in who they're reaching out to on LinkedIn. They need to write better messaging. They need to make things better because you can't just play the numbers game like you did previously.
And that's a perfect segue into like the next thing I would love to talk about with you, because we were kind of talking about this before we hit record about the difference between marketing and sales, and they're very connected, but they're different in the mindset, right?
Yeah.
How do you talk about it with people? Because since there are limitations on it, you can't just run it at full tilt. You know, we need to be clean, we need to be clear, we need to be relevant, right? It kind of sounds like what you're pushing there. How have you gotten better at getting your clients to focus on clarity and messaging and not just try to like do as much volume as possible?
Yeah. There's a few ways that we've gone about it. Number one, like the easiest number one thing that when you're doing outreach, if you take your same exact Sales Navigator filters that you normally do, and then just add the filter of only going after your second degree connections that match that, like to get connected and not your third degrees, like that's a huge step up in the connection rate that you'll get. But the other piece that is like, hey, we know they're active on the platform. There's an option in Sales Navigator, they post on LinkedIn the last 30 days. Like those are two really easy things that says we can't do as many, but we're going to get better connection rate and we're going to get better response rate from just targeting these smaller amounts of this overall target audience that are your second degrees and have posted. And then that gets more and more because you're building up your connections. So you have more people who are then become your second degrees that you can then reach out to. So it's like by staying actually doing less and targeting those focuses, you'll get better results. And then what we've recently started doing is I don't know exactly how we're phrasing it, but we're almost calling it like a niche in a niche, where how do I want to make sure I don't. One of our clients has an insurance agency, and he's trying to recruit insurance agents who are working at XYZ companies who have changed their compensation plan.
Oh,
he's only targeting the agents of those two companies. So that's a niche inside of it. He could target all insurance agents to become an agent at his company or whatever. He's not. He's niching inside of that niche. There's like an industry event or something, and he's getting a great reply rate. Another lady of ours, she's a client of ours. She's African American. She wasn't getting great results before. We targeted people who matched all those filters, but then they were also in Black business owner groups on LinkedIn. So it's a niche inside of a niche that says like people who are more like you along the way. And we're seeing that we don't need to reach out to as many people if we can get better results from the people that we're reaching out to.
So I like whenever I talk with people, founders or salespeople, you know, a lot of them get stuck and I just need more. I just need more. I just need more. Right. Do you run into that a lot of like people just thinking like, well, I just need endless amounts of volume? Or is it pretty easy to get people to realize like, okay, I don't need to do as much. I need to be better. I need to be tighter. I need
I mean, this goal is to still get more, right? But it's not more of what they think. It's not more input. The more input that you do, the lower your percentages are, the more people that you're wasting by trying to go out to those people or trying to do that if you're not doing a good job. The goal is that you want more people who are raising their hands and wanting to have a conversation. Like it's kind of an easy conversation to have there of, yeah, if you want to do more, first, let's make sure that the more is on the back end. And then
Mhm.
if you want to add another, a partner's LinkedIn account or things like that, like now your more is still getting more output. So you're doing more input to get more, like double the output essentially. So, but that's what
Interesting.
people, if they were just focused on, yes, you need to look at the steps along the way, the metrics, your connection rate, your response rate, those things, because those are the things that you need to fix in order to get the more on the back end. But if you just focus on more on the back end, like no cold email, and I've run cold email and things like that, but no cold email will ever get me a 10% response rate or 15% that we get through LinkedIn. We get, on average, our clients get 35% of second degrees will connect, and then 35% of those will reply. That means we're getting like 100 replies each month
Mhm.
for our clients, and a lot of hand raisers from those. It's hard to beat that unless you're doing massive amounts of cold email,
Yeah,
in my
absolutely.
experience. Other people are better at cold email than I am, but
So changing gears just a little bit.
Mhm.
When you think about your path as a founder, what do you think you've struggled with the most, right? Like, this might be you're pretty aware of who you are and stuff like this. We talked about, ADHD and things like this. Where is that shown up for you in the biggest way that you've been able to work on?
Well, this is an interesting. Biggest thing I struggle with now, biggest thing I struggled with 5 years ago,
Oh,
biggest
great question. Yeah.
because there have been
Let's
different
go
struggles along the
Yeah,
way.
let's go earlier, right? Because, like there is seasons to this, right? And so right now, you're I would love to talk about your salesperson
Yeah,
on the team now and kind of getting out of there because you come from sales. So,
yeah.
it's interesting whenever people hand off sales to someone else, right? Everyone does it a little bit differently. But going back to the early days of this, right? In the early days of this, where did you struggle the most? How did it show up?
It was everything that I struggled with super early on was finance related. It was
Interesting.
growth for the sake of growth, which we grew a lot there, but I wasn't tracking. Actually, it was probably just metrics, internal team metrics as a whole. I
Mm,
think like our profit margins, I wasn't really keeping track of back then. I could go figure out what they were if I wanted to and things like that, but I didn't. We had some good stuff. We were being able to pay our employees. Like things were going fine, right?
mhm.
But if I had really been more in tune with what my numbers were and things like that. And it's so easy to just like, it's people get this
Oh,
advice
yeah.
all the time. Profit first is one of the, a book, and
Great
you need
book.
to get profit first. So many people take that early on and they're like, yeah, but I still need to grow. And then I'll figure out the profit side. But like, if you profitably grow, you can invest so much more and grow even faster along the way. But like we had several salespeople back then, and we grew great, and it was great fun, and I enjoyed it. Then there was just like the KPIs of our internal metrics, right? I didn't really track that from our team, like what do your hours look like,
Mhm.
and what does your output, and what are we getting done, and how many any KPIs or those were just not being tracked across the board. I think those were two of the hardest things for me because I loved math in school, but like just going and looking at numbers. I'm not solving problems. I'm not doing anything there. I'm just looking at some effing numbers and I'm like, this is so freaking boring. Like, it doesn't matter. We'll just figure it out as
Interesting.
we go.
Okay, so, fascinating. So with the with did the what's my question here? A lot of people will push off metrics, KPIs, documentation, right? They'll kind of, thrive in the scramble, right? Or they'll try to and stuff like that. What led you to, okay, we got to figure this thing out? Was it a moment? Was it frustration? Like because your personality, right? We've hung out a couple of times. I mean, always over Zoom and calls and stuff like
Hmm.
that. But you are that person who likes likes to move, right?
Hmm.
That's the gist that I get from you, right? So I could see Braden being very prone to being like, tomorrow. We'll get to it tomorrow. We'll get to it when we're ready. We'll get to it when we're big enough, right? So, was it a tipping point? How did you get to the clarity?
Yeah. So, and I think we're going to dive into this at some point during today's call anyways, was when we'd grown so much and then LinkedIn made a whole bunch of those changes and we lost a ton of our revenue because of the
Oh,
changes that they made. Plus, right, because we couldn't send as many numbers, so clients that we had promised on that were like, we're trying our best here to do what we can for you. We even tried to offer them more value, and a lot of those clients did stick around because they trust us,
mhm,
but we did lose a lot. We tried to change the way we were offering, making some offerings out there too, and where was this going? So I made a post when I had to let go of a couple of employees, and that was like the
Yeah.
breaking point. There was I don't want to grow like this again, where it can all be like it could go so quickly,
Mhm.
right? I want to grow more stably, so I have cash reserves in case shit hits the fan,
Yeah.
right? In case this happens, or in case algorithm changes, or in case whatever happens in business, because every business has external factors that affect it, right? Like that doesn't matter what business you're in. There are external factors. If you're in clothing goods, you've got your tariffs now that may be affecting you. You've got there are always external factors. So
100%.
being able to put money into the bank more than just making it means I could have kept employees around, and we could have figured out what ways to go, and we did for a little bit,
Mm.
right? But it was that moment because I made this post, right, of the, and we'll talk about that.
Yeah.
But where I really started sobbing was, so we let go of 2 employees, and I let go of one, and then Emily let go of the other,
Mm.
and I went up to her after she let him go, and she was crying harder than I've ever seen her cry, and like absolutely sobbing at having to let somebody go for this. That was the turning point right there. Was
That
like,
was it,
I
huh?
don't want us to have to do it this. If I'm letting somebody go now, I've let go of many people since then, like letting them go because of lack of performance from them, or lack of whatever, or, fit on their on together, or things like that. That's not so emotional as like, hey, we fucked up as a business, and now we're
Yeah.
screwing over your livelihood for the people that we've liked, and we trust and respect. And watching Emily have to go through that was probably the single moment where I was like, nah, this shit is getting fixed.
Man, that, wild. I didn't realize that that was the moment. I mean, I can hearing in how you talk about it, I mean, it makes a ton of sense. Eh, yeah, I don't wanna make this whole interview just about that thing though, right?
Sure. I mean, we can just
but
touch back to it, but that was the moment that was like, it wasn't me making that post that was the moment.
her,
It
okay.
was her going up, and me going upstairs, because
Mhm.
we just saw, well, we still had the van, but we were living at we were home and living at her parents' house. I was working downstairs and she was working upstairs, and while we were getting ready to buy our house, and I walked into there, and she was sobbing so hard, and I was
Mm.
like, yeah, I don't want to put that on her ever again like this.
That's tough. That's yeah. Um, Interesting, okay. Um, what actions did you take? Right? Because I think a lot of people have those moments, right? You hit rock bottom, adversity, challenges, and stuff like this, right? And I think a lot of people mean well, right? Great intentions, but kind of bad follow through and everything. W w What actions did you take? Like, how'd you get it? What'd you do? How'd you get there?
Yeah, so the some of the first actions that I took, where I just need to, like, I want to look at we did a whole bunch of moving things in our project management tools. We've now in ClickUp, but now we can really start to see where a lot of our, because we're done, like a lot of our stuff is done for you,
Oh,
right? And done for you gets so complex with like people over going out of scope and things
yeah.
like that. So we're tracking all of our time. Like we immediately started tracking all of our time a lot better. Not
Mhm.
because I wanted to see, hey, are you being productive, or are you being a crappy employee? What are you doing? I just wanted to know, holy crap, this person's paying us the same as this person. This one's 2 hours a month, so we have profit there, but this one's 14 hours a month,
Yeah.
right? And all of a sudden, like that's less, that's negative profit. Like that's now taking away from the other people who are paying us, and not being so difficult. So that was actually like number one step is,
Interesting.
and then we then also started setting KPIs in place of like, in each role, what are like 3 metrics that you should be achieving and sharing with me each month. So that way I could more easily get that quick view
Mhm.
of things. I think was another big piece
That's
of it.
fascinating.
Yeah. So
Um,
those people just say like, I'll start doing a P&L report, but like a P&L report's very high level. It doesn't tell you how to improve your profit margins. It's like, okay, I need to stop paying for somebody's software. It's cool, but like that's one piece. Like, how is your product being
yeah.
serviced? How is your team putting their hours? How is your team doing this? Are there better ways that we could optimize that process too, or especially now with AI, we can automate a lot more. So can I take some hours off their plate that they're spending on creating zaps, or whatever it is that
Mhm.
they're spending their time on? It's like, can we make that easier somehow to save ourselves time?
Yeah.
So
And in the done for you space, and I love that you brought this up because I don't understand why people don't do this more, but go back and look at the client logs, like see how much time are they a struggle bus? Like, are you forever, and especially like in agency stuff, like the account management, right? If they're never showing up to that call, like that's a signal. There's something going on in there. And if you're not
Yep.
doing account management, you don't know where your people like it
Yep.
just, it's crazy. But
Yep.
I love that idea. These two clients are paying the same amount. One we're making really great margin on. The other ones are struggle buses. And inside of there, like, okay, how much support do they need? How much do our people like working with them? Like,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's a lot to clean up inside of that stuff, but you have to decide that like it's worth doing as opposed
Yeah.
to, well, everyone should just be better
Right.
kind of thing.
Exactly. And that's if you don't know what's going on where, you just assume that your employees, and I try to never make that assumption, but you can easily make the assumption that your employees aren't working that hard or they're not being that
Oh,
productive, or how do you motivate them better or things like that. I mean, they just don't need motivation. They just need you to automate one of their stupid tasks that takes them 3 hours a week per client
yep.
to do. Like we now, all of our leads, we push to Zapier, like all our replies for clients, they push to
Mhm.
Zapier. AI now marks it a 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 on the hotness lead warmness scale. If it's a 4 or
Wow.
5, the client automatically gets an email about that thing, right? We used to go through and check our leads manually. It
Hmm.
was one of the big things that and it took us, it was one person's basically entire job to do that. And I'm like, okay, well, I can free you up to do so much other stuff by automating this process.
Hmm.
Cool. And now all of a sudden they're also not just doing the same thing all day, every day. They can get into some other stuff too, but we can do other things, but we're now making their jobs better or easier.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
love that, man. I like it's interesting because I tend to find people kind of fall into one of two lanes, right? And I saw a video about this, and the guy talked about it. You're either the showman or you're the practitioner,
Mm-hmm.
And I find that people kind of stay on one lane, right? I'm much more of a practitioner than I am a showman. I'm not a super strong marketer, and that's okay. But I love that you're talking about both, right? Because a lot of people who come from sales are more of the showman. They're not trying to
Mm-hmm.
create a better product or, a better mousetrap and stuff like that. So I think it's really cool that you have room for both.
I think it felt like the only option at that point. Like I can't, we already did the showman
That's fair.
side. I
Yeah.
could keep on going that route and just keep putting my but like if I want to actually have a business that is potentially sellable or really scalable,
Hmm.
I can't do that with just like growing just to grow. You just
Yeah.
can't. And you're not gonna be a good of a showman feeling that pressure. Like if you that financial pressure that I felt early on, even though we were making a lot more, there was a lot more employees and a lot more paydays that were going out. So paydays were way more stressful back then than they are now. But you spend a lot of your time thinking about, I hope I have enough payments that come in time for payday to make payday for people.
100%.
And that's taking you away from being a showman. Like I don't want to go post on LinkedIn nearly as much when I'm so stressed about the finances. Like, hey, here's how to grow your business, but my
Yeah.
business freaking sucks.
Yep.
It's hard to be that showman if you don't fix that side.
Yeah. And, that kind of leads to this other thing, right? Of social does kind of give this distorted view, right? And it's way too far apart. And a lot, I have lots of connections I've never met, like you and I've never met in person,
Mm-hmm.
So like I have a lot of people that are kind of in that tier. And I see stuff of be authentic, bring your whole self and everything. And I try to do that because I don't want to portray that it's all, highlights and unicorn horns and everything else like this, that, that this is hard, there's a lot to figure out. And I try to bring a very authentic perspective to my content, So you made this post and it got really, really, really big, and so I'm curious, how much time was it between you sitting or going upstairs, sitting with Emily, seeing her going through this thing to the post and you hitting post on this thing that got really big?
Yeah, it was probably about 30 minutes, 45. Like
Wow.
I was up there with her, spent some time. I wanted to give her some space
Mhm.
too, because we're, people are all different. I like to talk my things out and we like to internalize it a bit before she talks it out. So I wanted to give her some space. So went back down. Watching her cry made me cry, right? So I was sitting down there, I don't know, in and out of crying, maybe, I don't know, or maybe it kind of just ended and I was just still crying. And I was like, and I was just thinking, because I just wanted to be helpful to other people, right? Because
Yep.
being an entrepreneur it's not for the faint of heart. And it can be a lonely journey. Like
Yeah,
it can
for
be a very
sure.
lonely journey. You are always in charge of asking how other people are. you don't have people asking how you're doing and what's going on there. So I was like, and I had friends. Sorry, I know we're getting a little bit off
No, you're
topic
good.
from that, but I had friends who we traveled with in the van to Mexico. And they came to us one day. We did an online game night or something before we headed to Mexico. And they said, like, Braden, your posts around your ADHD are so helpful. We realized that Derek, one of the two of the couple, has ADHD. And like, that's helped our relationship so much because of your posts about it.
Yeah.
And I was like, and so that's what I was like, man, like if I can do something on the entrepreneur side to just, that's always been the goal is if you can put yourself out there more, like I talk about how ADHD the struggles that I have and the benefits of it and that kind of stuff and the funness and the anti-funness that comes with ADHD. But without that post, maybe they don't realize it. Maybe their relationship doesn't get to be improved, or maybe they realize it much, much later, but where's the relationship at, right? So I said, okay, what people are going through something similar because it was 2022 when the economy was going backwards and all those employees or all those big companies were letting go of people. And there was the one CEO called his employees dolphins or whatever he called them. I don't even remember what it was, but like they were all like the big companies were like being very assholey about it. And I was like, yeah, well, maybe not all the founders and all the owners of companies are bad, but also other businesses like if you are going through this, like you're not alone. Like it's okay to feel awful about letting people go. Like it's okay to be crying. And it wasn't to take away from what my employees were feeling. It was just like, I am connected to a whole bunch of business owners. Like I've got 25,000 connections and they're all business owners who may be facing something about this. And what the post never saw, sorry, we're way off topic, but what the post never saw was
like this
all
is the
the
thing I want to
people
talk
who
about
said
a little
thank
bit.
you in my DMs. That's what you just couldn't see in public.
Yeah.
Is everybody said, dude, supporting you, but also thank you. Like I have to let somebody go tomorrow. This makes me feel so much like I feel okay that I have to do, not okay that I have to do this, but I feel okay to know that I can feel the emotions on my side too, because it is harder to be the one fired than do the one firing, but there are still emotions on the side firing too, because especially if it's employees that you care. Like we're a small team, so these are employees. I've went and stayed at one of their houses for a couple of days on our van travel. Like you get close to these people and you feel fucking awful about it, right? And I was just like, other business owners, it's okay to feel awful about this. You don't have to be some person that has it all figured out and things like that. And that's where the post came from during that 30, 45 minutes of time. I'm always trying to use my stuff to help other people. Like that's kind of who I am. Is I would just want to take my experiences and say, hey, can I help somebody else with the experience that I'm feeling?
So I saw the post, right? And I think I saw it maybe the next day, and I knew you, right? And so like I just see it for an authentic moment of being vulnerable and trying to share and everything. And
You
then I
didn't
started to
block
read
me, so that's good.
I did not block you.
What the fuck?
And then I started to read the comments under that thing, and I was like, I was floored, honestly, right? A little bit, but everyone's going through stuff and everyone, right? If you don't really know someone, you're not going to give them the benefit of the doubt and everything. And you don't strike me as someone who's terribly concerned about being kind of polarizing or pushing some buttons and everything.
No.
Did you have a moment of like, oh, this is blown up. Like, this is not this, like, did you want to walk it back? Or was it just like, it's out here, this is how I feel, and screw you if you don't like it?
No, I made a post the next day. I forget what the second post was. It was like, hey, yeah, I'm Braden. I'm the crying CEO. Here's what the intentions of my post were. Kind of a thing. It didn't matter. People didn't care what I had to say. I think they assumed that was a PR statement at that point. I'm like, if you think I can afford a PR person, you're crazy. Fucking hell.
Guys, I was just letting people off.
Like my left brain is my PR person. My right brain is the CEO. Like that's what we got here.
So, okay. So in that 24-hour period, right, were you, like, how quickly did it blow up, right? Because, like, I mean, it was everywhere, right? And I was having, I would have conversations, and other people would bring it up, like in my chat community. People are like, "Have you seen this guy?" I'm like, "I know that guy."
Yeah.
I was in Albuquerque, and someone was talking about it, and I was like, "I know that guy. He's a solid guy," And they were like,
"Thank you."
They were so floored. They were like, "What?" Like, and I was like, "He was going through it, like, and." If you've never had to go through it, you don't know what it feels like. And so you think you're going to be enough and it's not going to phase you. And then when it does, it's wild. So like, how long until you realize, oh, this is bigger This
It
isn't just
w-
like a post that's gonna get some engagement, like, there's something going on with this thing. How long did that take to register?
it was it was interesting because it was rainy that day, so we had nothing going on that evening. And Emily's parents live out in the country, so we had
Mhm.
nothing going on. So I was just basically hanging out, watching sports, and on my phone because I just kept getting buzz after buzz after buzz. People would comment, so I was basically commenting back and forth with people until 1 a.m. I think I was going back and forth, and
Wild.
I sent one of my team members a message on Slack, and I said, "Hey, I think I just went viral on LinkedIn at like 2 a.m." I didn't want her to read it, but she wouldn't read it till the morning. But I like before I went to bed that night, I was like, I've turned this off. Like I'll just be back and forth with people all day on this, right? And it's
Interesting.
all the HR people. That's who came for it the most was HR, and people I'm not connected with, but are in the HR world. That's who. I'm
Oh,
just
did
playing
you
with
get
it.
an outreach from HR? Hey, Braden, if you don't wanna have to do this again, you should
Yeah,
hire me.
yeah,
Did you get
exactly.
outreach?
No, I didn't get very many of those, but just a lot of
Okay.
HR people telling me I
Wow.
didn't handle it the right way or things like that. And there were some valid points. Like there were some valid points of like when I made that, like when you made this post, did you consider your employees' feelings of making this post, and did you consider this, and did you consider that, and um, all the other points I had just like you, they just they know that I was like upset about it. They knew that
Man,
I was letting people go. Like they knew like hey,
they
just
came in
Braden
and
being Braden.
commented and defended you, which
Yeah,
was
the people who I let go, yeah, they went back and defended me. Like, yes, I'm upset I got let go, but I'm not offended by Braden's post. And so then what I did is I put from the two, I got permission from one to put his details up there, and he ended up with a much higher paying job that he enjoyed more than the one he was doing at Hypersocial. Like,
yeah,
and he's still at that job now
that's
to
cool.
today. So it's like I feel, but I made a post like, hey, here's one of the people I let go. Here's what he's great at, and he got hired. I don't know if it's from that post or whatever. I'm not saying it's from that post, but I learned along the way that maybe I should have done some things for the employees
That's fair.
first,
Yeah.
but I was just trying to be real. Like that's all it was. Is it was like there's that Be Real app which I don't ever use, but it's all about like posting. You have a time of day where it hits you. You get a notification you're supposed to post within a minute of that, like, and just make it and take a
Really?
picture and post within it. Yeah, I don't
Huh,
like it at all because
not
it's
sure.
always that like it's always when I'm fucking doing nothing, but I'm just sitting. So every single time, like, no, god damn it, like get it when I'm paddleboarding, get it when I'm doing something like once. Like I'll post all like the picture of my TV and whatever that I'm doing that day, but like please just once let me just be doing something decent.
That
But
is
yeah,
so
I
funny.
was just trying to be real in the moment, and yeah, I think I hope for the employees it ended up better, but I think there was some things that I learned from it, but there
Yeah.
was plenty that yeah, it was not maybe not so truthful about it,
S
or blown out of proportion, or yeah, things.
When you think about trying to be real, authentic, vulnerable, right? Do you, is it harder after that?
It's so much harder.
How do you how do you deal with that? How do you weigh it out?
To be honest, I don't think I've found the answer yet. I still find I think more than ever, and I posted, you may have seen my post on Facebook about it, just about like the imposter syndrome that I
Yeah.
now feel.
Mhm.
And I feel that more like where our business is growing consistently again, and we're like in a much healthier place than we were then. And like, I'm glad we went through that to make ourselves better. Like we've
Mhm.
improved a lot of the stuff that we've done, and everything is so much easier now than it was. Um, but my posting has just gone down completely because I'm still not certain that one, if I do post real shit, what's going to happen? Like, I
Yeah.
don't want death threats in my email inbox again. I don't want people going to Emily's Instagram and telling her that her boyfriend's a piece of shit. And I don't want them
You're
to,
getting death threats?
I got a few death threats. Yeah.
Oh my
Couple
god.
cut my throat, whether they're going to slit my throat or I should kill myself, or yeah,
Wow.
quite a few of those. They would find my email and did a few of those. Yeah, there was a couple of those. But
Wolf.
yeah, I definitely still, when that was what, 2022, I do not put myself out there the same way that I did. Like I've been trying to put myself out there a little more. Like, hey, here's something that I learned on, because I'm not a marketer. I don't do marketing emails. I don't do, so I've been, some things that I try and just to, hopefully it can help
Mhm.
somebody. But the emotional side of the business, I have not shared
Yeah.
nearly as much.
Interesting. Do you This is a potentially weird question. Do you think it's important that you get back to that place to where you can be that authentic, open person, or is it like, "Hey, I'm never going back to 11, like, we're not
No,
ever going
no. I think
7."
it's one of the things that I've missed the most is just like being my authentic self with people. Not I don't care whether it's social or whether it's in person, or and not that I like try to not be myself, right? But a more reserved where you get a piece of me, not the whole
Oh, yeah.
me. I would love to get back. I mean, that's what Emily's always. I forget what we're doing the other day. Oh, she said that I'm always like I'm a massive oversharer. Like, but that's like who I like to share. Like, I just like
Yeah.
to talk, and it's enjoyable to me. And I miss some of the real conversations that happened on LinkedIn because I was just putting up what came to mind,
Yeah.
right?
That makes
And
complete sense.
yeah, so I think it's been tough, and I don't know how to necessarily get myself back to
Mhm.
it because like I don't like I tell myself it's okay to post whatever, but I just don't have the same thought process when something hits. I'm not like let's go make a post about that kind of a
Yeah.
thing. It just doesn't hit the same way
Hmm.
there.
So, with all that, momentum of this post, right? And I'm just seeing the bad stuff. I love I love that you talked about the positive DMs that you were getting, right? Because like, when you're scrolling through this stuff, right, and it's just negative, 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 right? Like there was some positive stuff, but you're just washed over with all the negative and everything. And I love that you're talking about that you're getting positive, responses in the DMs and everything. I think that's really cool. We're never gonna make everybody happy anyway. What was the I mean, obviously you made it through, but did anything cool come from all of that stuff? Like any cool new connections, business opportunities, right? Like, because like I've been looking at it, and whenever I think about it, and me and my wife have talked about it because we get to work together, and I'm like, oh, like I remember when it. I mean, it makes me not want to put myself out there, right? And myself always does better whenever I'm my authentic self. When I talk about my stutter and I
100%.
talk about being an introvert and stuff like that. But, I didn't even have to go through it, but I'm like, I don't know. I don't
Doesn't
know."
look very fun.
Right? It does not
That's
look
a
very
lot of
good.
bad words and some comments. It's a lot of
But,
mean shit.
I mean,
Yeah.
I like, I don't this is a weird thing to say. I don't know how many death threats I would want to be able to kinda choose to ignore. You know what
I
I'm
mean, it's
saying? Like,
less than one is what you would like. Yeah,
yes,
I'm just telling you
exactly.
that from somebody who I was like, yeah, okay, what the ever, but it's still just like somebody really threatened my life, like
Yeah.
said this that for my life from a LinkedIn post. Like,
Mhm.
yeah, like the answer is zero, right? Especially having family that you care about, friends that you care about, because the other socials are out there. People can go find out more about you and stuff like that, and it could get I don't know scary quick, right? The answer is zero death threats is how
Yep.
many any person
That's how many you want.
should have or want or be able to handle. Like nobody should be able to handle death threats. It's not a thing that we handle in life. It's like, yeah, you know what? I'm really good at handling death threats. What?
Fair,
I got
fair.
really good at this. Look at my one skill set. Stupid.
Uh, yeah, it shouldn't be a thing you wanna be good at.
No.
Um, so, okay, but, like, I'm gonna change my question a little bit
Okay.
because 'cause I've never been through an experience like this, like, where, like, something I've said is blown up to this thing, and there's positive and negative and everything. What's the half-life of something like that? Like, I mean, is it, like, months and you're getting all of it? Is it, like, 30 minutes? Is it 3 days? Like,
Of the benefits of the downside of the
that's a good question. Just the both, honestly, like not positive or negative, because like I'm sure that it probably put you on the map for some people, right? It probably led to some, some stuff and everything else like that. But both sides of it, like how long how long were you like, man, we're still dealing with this? We're still dealing with
it's
this?
still my most viewed post every month on LinkedIn. Now I don't post as much as I used to.
Sure. Yeah.
So there's that factor, but if I go look to my LinkedIn statistics, it'll be one of my top 5 viewed posts this month. It'll be one of my top 5 viewed posts next month, and I don't know when it'll eventually stop, but yeah, it's still a pretty commonly viewed
I have a question
post.
then for you.
Yeah.
Do you deal with the weight of, do I pull this down? Do I leave it here?
I've thought about it, yeah, because
Yeah.
I don't. even though it's 3 years old, especially in the world that I'm in, you don't want people to trust me less because I had to let go of employees when I'm helping businesses grow. Like, there's plenty of things. Like, I don't try to advise people on everything, how to grow their
Mhm.
business, right? It's like a
Yeah.
very set few things that I'm really good at. And that's what I advise them on. That's what I want them to stick
Same.
with me on, right?
Yeah.
I don't want them to trust me on whatever this is and whatever that is. And if I have thoughts about those things and I get better at those things, sure, I will share them with you. But I'm not telling you to trust me on how to manage your books and how to do your finances. Like, don't fucking listen to me on that side of things, right? Like, it's important to do those things, but don't listen to me on actually how to go about doing them because
Knowing your
I can't
lane.
help you there, right?
Yeah.
But I can help you on the side that I always wonder, should I take it down because does it hurt potential clients who are like, hey, this is the owner of this company and this is what all the people are saying about him or those kind of things. So I've had that thought many times.
What
Still
keeps
there
you
though.
from pulling it down?
Laziness, probably. It's just like having to go find it and click it and delete it. Yeah.
Okay.
And it's just like, it's like, I don't, I've never been a person of like regretting things that I've done. Like,
Okay.
I've always, that post was me at a point in my life that I wanted to make that post. I made that post. It went whatever way that it went, up, down, sideways, backwards. It went that way. But to delete that is to just be like, I don't know. You can't delete conversations in real life. You can't back up the things that you said to people one on one. You can't remove
Mhm.
those things. Why should I be able to go remove a post I made on social media? Like, I
Yeah.
said it,
I respect that.
whether it was right or wrong, it was there, and now it's still there. I think that's like the bigger factor is it was me, and it's me,
Mhm.
and if that's not what you want, if that's not what you like, I don't think I would do it again by any means, but I don't think it would ever get deleted.
So if you're talking to a brand new founder today, right, and they're new, right, and they want to be viral and they want to be big and they want to do these things, right, and they're also talking about these things and they come to you and they say, Braden, do I put myself out there? Right? Do I go the authentic route? Do I go copywriter route? Do I do this thing? What would be your advice to someone who is struggling with this very wide lane and very huge range of different opinions? What would you tell them to do?
I think if I'd made that same post and didn't include the picture of myself crying, it would have had such a different impact. Is people
Whoa.
assumed the picture that I took because I was trying to add the personality and I was trying to add more emotion to the
Yeah.
post of like, this is what business owners are feeling. Like, it's okay to be feeling like this, or if anybody's letting go, like, it's okay. Like, this is what you can be feeling like. It's the picture that I think that made the bigger difference than the words that were in the picture, right? Because
That's
it does come off as a
fascinating.
vanity thing. Like, I've laughed at people who like take videos of themselves crying and post them onto TikTok and things like that. I'm like, wow, you look ridiculous.
Mhm.
But then that picture, I would post the real stuff, but I would really just take away the picture of yourself crying if you were to ever, like, that's the one thing I would say, like, do everything else authentically. But, and it's like, I still think post pictures of yourself, but I wouldn't make it like that because I think that was the thing that caused it so much, like
Hmm.
so much, because it just felt like a vanity thing. Like, look at me crying, feel bad for me, feel sorry for me, feel that. And that's not
Whoa.
what I was trying to do.
So, like, without the photo, you think it's like 5 comments and
No big
like
deal.
like a
Yep.
handful of
I mean,
likes?
maybe it goes, like, maybe it does I think it would have a lot more positiveness on it from just business owners. I don't think
Wild.
the HR people would have seen it. I don't think the algorithm would have pushed it as hard.
Hmm.
Also, the conversation I had later is LinkedIn did a lot of like letting people go that same day. They let go of a lot of employees that day.
Oh.
It's almost like it could have been pushed in the algorithm so that way when you searched LinkedIn layoffs, what did you get
Oh.
instead of learning about LinkedIn layoffs? You got a picture of the crying CEO laying off people instead because he made that post on LinkedIn. Well, that's a
Interesting.
thought somebody else had, which is
Wild.
it got like forcefully upped in the algorithm to prevent.
Man, I never even thought that, like, see, it never even came to mind that, like, the photo is the thing that made it such a big thing. That
It was
is
the photo.
that is so wild.
I guarantee way more than I just with what I know and how I post and things like that, and just the way
Yeah,
I see things. It was because most of the hate. I mean, most of the hate was you're self-absorbed. This is about you. Crocodile tears, whatever. I don't even remember what
yeah,
they all were. Right, but it was the post itself doesn't come off as very self-serving.
yeah,
Right, like, I let go of somebody today. I'm very sad about it. Not all CEOs are assholes. They actually do
yeah.
care about their employees. Like, that's what that was about, right? That's what the post itself said. None of that was really self-serving,
Mhm,
right? But the crying made it seem as if it was trying to be a self-serving, pity me, woe is me, look at
yeah.
my face, it's all about me kind of a thing.
And, This is a fascinating tangent, and we don't have to go super deep down this thing. I'm just kind of curious. Do you think that the cultural kind of leaning that like men shouldn't cry led to them thinking being easier for them to think that you're faking it? Like crocodile tears?
Probably for sure. Yeah,
That's interesting.
I
Huh.
could probably
Hmm,
for sure. Yeah,
okay.
that's exactly what he said.
Um,
That makes sense. Yeah,
yeah.
I think it's part of it.
Yeah, if the photo is there because, like I've seen other photos of people who were upset or going through it and stuff like that. And, sometimes it's fine, right? Sometimes it's not. I was just curious to see your thinking on that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna think about that the rest of the day. Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah, it's also like, why would you take a selfie while crying? But it's like
That is the thing.
I'd been
Yeah.
crying for so long at that point. Like I'd gotten a clearer head. I had the initial emotional reaction, but I was like still upset, and tears were still going down my face. And I was like,
Okay.
I could take a picture of this now that I had clearer thoughts around it. Like I wasn't wiping my face, like it was just there.
Yeah.
Like this would I was writing the post actually, I think, and then I took the picture to add it to the post. It
Yeah.
wasn't like, let me take a picture of myself while I'm crying, right? When I'm really upset. Like, no, it had that. I've been crying for a while now. Like, I've been upset for a while.
Yeah.
Now I'm thinking about how I can use this as a time to help other people.
Yeah. I really want to show like the struggle of
Hmm.
this, right? That it does have weight to it.
You got it.
That's
Yeah.
fascinating. Braden, I want to be super respectful of your time. I got a couple of rapid fire questions, right? Questions that I'm
Okay.
asking everybody who's coming through.
Sure.
And thank you so much for coming and doing this, man. We've been
It's
friends
been
for a
fun.
while and just really
Yeah.
appreciate it. W- When you think about your path, there's all these rules, all these mantras, all these dogmas, all the tweets and everything. What is the lesson you couldn't hear? You couldn't see, you couldn't learn it from anyone else. You had to go learn it the hard way. You had to run into the wall.
That like you would get as like early on in business advice, but you just wouldn't listen to. Like
Yeah,
pretty
like
standard advice that you're like, yeah,
yeah,
whatever.
all
Like
the
that's
standard
just a
boilerplate, niche
cliche.
down and just don't give up and everyone knows a yes and all of that stuff, right? Like,
Yeah.
is there one that comes to mind that when you see it now, you're like, yeah, yep, shoulda, wish I learned it as opposed to having to live it.
Hmm. I do think it's the profit first. Like I do think that's one of the hardest lessons. And I don't think many, like especially early on, you're just so excited about the project that you're building. You're so excited about this. You let that excitement and all of that take you away from just making sure that you're building your business smartly,
Mhm,
right? Um, I think that's one of the biggest lessons that I would take is like you need to know your numbers and you need to be able to like uh, I think Shark Tank talks about it a lot. Like they're always like you need to know your profit. You need to know what your cost per item of your cost is and what your
mhm.
sale price and what your margins are and those kind of things. Like, now I could probably rattle those off. Back then I couldn't. But then I knew every time I was selling something that was $500, I knew what my profit margin was. I knew, okay, that's $300 profit into the
Yeah,
business,
you knew
or
it
is
in
it
like one
$50 profit?
direction, but not the
Yeah,
other direction. Yeah.
exactly. And
Mhm,
you know what your customer acquisition cost should be at that point because you need to keep it below this, you need to keep it below that. Like it just makes growing so much simpler.
mhm.
Because if you know that your lifetime value of profit of a client is worth $10,000, cool, you can spend $5,000 to get that client, and you know that you're good to go,
Yep.
right? So just knowing those numbers a bit better and building out the margins, right? Like you need to have margins. Your employees should want you to have margins. They should want you to be profitable. Like working at a profitable company is way better than working at a company where they just spend all the money on the employee payroll because it's stressful, right? It's just a
Mhm.
better business overall. So I think that is the number one. That's yeah, like it's fine, it's fine. We're growing. I'm paying my employees. We're paying our bills. Like we're fine. We're fine. Okay, things are going downhill. We're not fine anymore.
Yeah, it's so similar to like the resolution crowd, right? I'm gonna start in January. I'm gonna start when
Hmm.
I'm big enough. I'm gonna start, and we just kick the can because we don't define what that place is, right?
Hmm.
So then it just becomes morphed as we change. Working in the space that you do, right? Top of funnel, business development, outbound messaging, and everything. What is the advice you would give a brand new founder about putting themselves out there? Like, and this might be anything from start early or do more volume than you think. Like, what is something that a founder today needs to know about top of funnel messaging, business development?
I think early on, too many founders want to go into marketing. They want to have inbound leads. They want to
Mm,
have people coming to their website wanting to buy their stuff and things like that. The number one thing that I see is to just go build relationships with the people that you want to be selling this to. And you'll go so like it's not as a scalable of a thing. Like, yes, you should eventually get into marketing. You should get into paid ads. You should get into, sales funnels and things like that. But that costs a lot early on. You don't have the runway. The easiest, go to networking events, right? Go get on LinkedIn and start connecting with those people. Just go start doing that, building that out, prove it. And then you can have some cash flow and some extra profit in there. And then you can start to say, okay, now I can invest some of that. But people want to go into marketing too fast and they sit around and they end up with no clients because they don't want to put themselves out there. They don't want to go outwards. They want to bring it all inwards, but then they're spending all their time, well, what should this web page say? And what should this, because they don't have the funds to hire a copywriter. They don't have the funds to hire an ad person. They don't have the funds to do, or to have a runway on getting your ads to be profitable or that kind of stuff. It's like, just go start conversations. Like, you can send 200 connection requests on LinkedIn, go start a conversation, call people up, give them a call, go to networking events with the people that are going to be there, go do the stuff that just puts because you're going to build referral partners. You're going to build clients who trust you and like you even more. They want to know your journey of how you're building the app because they like the software or whatever that you're doing. They like what you built. They also like to know the journey of how you built it, right? And why you're building it. And what other things are you doing and thinking about and things like that. And people they just connect with you more that way.
Okay, I have my opinion on this as a
Okay.
sales consultant and coach. Why do you think they do that?
I think there's a few things. I think there's a lot of gurus who will tell you that you need to stop doing outbound and just get inbound, right? Inbound leads are so much easier to close. When you actually do get them, inbound and referrals are way easier to close,
Yep.
right? Than
Start from
cold.
a
Like,
place
you
of
got to
trust.
work harder. Yeah. They're further along. I think there's also just a lack of confidence in what they're doing. Like, going and having a conversation with somebody shouldn't be a scary thing, but it is, because you're not hiding behind a brand logo anymore. It's you,
Yeah.
right? They go have a conversation with you on Zoom, and you're whatever you are, and you think they're going to judge you for it, or you don't have all your business figured out. You think they're going to judge you for it because of whatever, or you don't have this piece of your software if you're building a software, whatever it is. Like, it's your face now connected with people. It's your name on the line, not a logo that you're sitting behind. So I think there's a lot of confidence or lack of confidence that can be behind it too. But I do think there's a lot of outside factors on that.
That's
Of it also.
fascinating. I not really, because like I had to go through that shift because I worked in corporate and then moved into small business, and then the weight was, okay, who am I, right? And like, how do I fit into this whole thing, right? And
Mm-hmm.
that is a really big shift, right? I just always kind of
Mm-hmm.
label it of it's it sounds sexier and it sounds easier, and the rejection is way, 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 way off.
Absolutely. Somebody
Not
can
right
click your
there.
ad and then not buy your thing, and you don't even know that happened,
Yeah,
right? You got to click,
absolutely.
and you're like, okay, that doesn't affect me. You get on a call with somebody, they don't want to buy your stuff from
Yeah,
that. You're like, what did I do wrong? What am I not building
100%.
a good software product, or people cancel from? Yeah, it's way
Yeah,
worse.
or you don't know how to, like, even run a sales call, so you
Right.
just show up and because you don't know any better, you're gonna treat it like a networking call versus, like, a direct sales call. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
well, should we dig in and kinda talk about
Mm-hmm.
like, there's a way of doing it, but if you're not trained or taught, you're probably not gonna do it very well,
Yeah.
which then just makes it easy to, like, want to avoid it, right? So,
Right.
like, I don't blame all the funnel builders and all the people who are, like, building in their white towers and everything else like that, but, like, it's just not gonna work unless you just have mountains of spend. You
Yeah.
gotta go talk to the people. You gotta go have a real perspective of what they're dealing with, or else you're just gonna miss more than you hit. So,
Yeah, I mean, it's always capital equity or sweat equity, right? And in the B2B or the founder-led worlds, unfortunately, there's not just time spent equity, but there's like the emotional equity that you're putting into
oh,
being
yeah.
on sales calls and getting no's and things like that. That
Oh, man.
save you a lot of money, though.
I have to talk about this with people all the time, like, stop and here's a tip, right? If you're a brand new founder and you're okay, stop saying, "I would love to meet you," right? Because then when they're like, "Well, I don't wanna meet you," and you choose to get offended, like, it shouldn't have been about that anyway, right?
Right. Right.
Lots of people will do little bitty things because they think it ups their percentages, but really is just putting their, like, identity and value into their outreach and, like, making it hard to be consistent because
Mm-hmm.
they're putting too much of themselves out there, right?
Mm-hmm.
I am this person, but here's the thing that I do need this thing. Don't
Yeah.
make it about you, right? It
Yeah.
does make it a little bit easier. But once again, if you don't know to like do that, you're I hope this email finds you well. I can't wait to meet you. I would love to spend 5 hours with you and like not get anything done. Right. It
Yeah.
just becomes too easy.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that idea because I try to teach people the same thing, right? It's just a conversation, and when you show up, very old line that my old business partner used to say: "If you show up and you ask for money, you get advice. If you show up and you ask for advice, you'll get money." Right? So working in public, sell startup, right? All of these things are versions of that, right? Just slightly
Mm-hmm.
different. So, but
Oh,
go
that's
start with a
interesting.
real connection. Don't try to market all the way to conversion from your tower if you don't have the skill set. It's
Yep.
probably just not going to go very well.
Yep. Huh.
Right now, Braden,
Yeah.
there's all these really cool things happening right now. AI is a major, huge topic, right? I think a lot of people are going to gigs and consulting and starting off on their own things, right? What is the one piece of advice or word of warning you would give to someone who's starting now?
Related to AI or just anybody who's starting now, period, whether it's AI related or not?
Great question. Thank you for that. I'm trying to bring up how big of a thing AI is.
Yeah.
Uh,
You mean more people are starting businesses because AI is now around the
well,
as
no,
a
I think
place it can go.
really, I mean, silver bullets are everywhere, right? And people have no end of trying to sell us these silver bullets and everything. And so
Mhm.
there's a lot of pitfalls, right? I'm going to go hire an agency to do these things. I'm going to do it all through GPT, right? There's a lot of ways to do it wrong. What's one piece of advice you would give to a founder to kind of help them stay on the right path?
Hmm. I got this from there's a book called Buy Back Your Time of Dan Martell.
You're
He's
the
a
second person to mention that book on this show
well, no way.
in the past few weeks. Yeah.
That's interesting. So he has a there's a little people will often make like a matrix, but he made it really simple when I'm figuring out what I'm doing each day.
Mhm.
Right, whether to figure out whether it should go to an agency or what, because you do need to start like delegating things. And you need to start outsourcing things. You want to do it the right way. Is every day I would write down all the stuff that I would write down everything that I did, everything across the board, and then I would mark it. I would highlight it green if it brought me energy. It gave me energy. Right, if I got more energy from it, I would mark it red if it took away my energy. Then I would mark it with a dollar sign if it was a money making thing.
Mhm.
So the things that were green and money making, nobody was taking those from me. The things that were red and not money making, those are the things I need to delegate. Replying to your emails, replying to this. But it was such a like there's such like a you could do the matrix of like what's over here, but it's just does it make me is it the revenue generating? So then you would take after you do the red that aren't revenue generating, then you would do the red that are revenue generating, try to get rid of those off of your plate, and then
Mhm.
because you can still do the stuff that you enjoy, green, but really you just need to be spending your time green revenue generating. So, but it's just a way to like figure out where to start helping other people is by figuring out because if Emily and I was to delegate different things, what she would want to keep on her plate is way different than what I would want to keep on my plate, and every
Oh, yeah.
founder is different. I meant to ask you this earlier. Have you heard of the wealth dynamics personality test?
I've not heard of the wealth.
It's 99
Yeah.
$99, but it's
Yep.
all about your path to wealth. And it takes in your it's probably similar to your disc profiles, but it also takes into account like, okay, so what does that mean towards towards becoming wealthy? And I think
Beautiful.
every person should take that because it also tells you the first people that you should be working with on your team or the people that you should be having around you because you're X, Y, Z. Like I'm a supporter, so I just help people be successful. Like that's what I am. But I
Apple.
need a creator to create the things and I need I forget the other side of I need a deal maker, right, who's
Oh,
good at buying low and selling high on things. And but it's really interesting on your path to wealth, and some people are stars, like Taylor Swift a star kind of thing. It was really the most interesting personality test that I've taken. It would be interesting to
I'm
know yourself because you can hire people. I think one of the things I did earlier, I hired people that were just like me
Yep.
because
Yep.
I got along with them. They were great. They were fun. Like we got along so well, and I was like, then we get go
Just
on, and I'm like, wait, what the fuck? Like we're all
yeah.
doing the same shit. Like, we're all doing this. We're just all doing the same stuff. You need people who you maybe don't get along with as well, personality wise. You like to still get along with them, but they're better at building out the processes or whatever it is that you're really bad at, and
Yep.
getting to work with them, and then you can start to really build something better. So hiring
Interesting.
not just based on like their skill set too. Yeah.
I love that because my business partner was coming out of that mode. He'd only ever hired people just like him, and he was a really high I type, right? So very creative, innovative, right? Loves the chaos and everything. And so the way that he explained it one time, he goes, man, when things were going great, it was a party, but a little bit of struggle, and it was 2 a.m.
Yep.
right? And the lights are coming on and everyone has to leave and everyone's in
Yep.
a hurry to leave, you know?
Yep.
And I was like, whoa, what a fascinating thing. And so whenever we did disc and I came back as a C, he was still excited because he was like, oh, okay. Because he thought I was a D type because we just knew each other in Kung Fu. And so he was like, oh, you're a C. Okay. But that offsets my struggles. So let's try it anyway. And I got to come in learning all this stuff about differentiation and all this stuff around the idea that like we're allowed to be very different. We're allowed to
Hmm.
need different things and be really good at them and stuff. And very, very helpful because I'd never seen any of that stuff before
Yep.
that, you know, and been
Yep.
in sales for over 10 years at that point. So
Yeah.
I can't wait to go take this and I'll probably make everybody on my team take it as well. So thank you for that, man. I really
Yeah, if you
appreciate it.
buy, I'll give you the link to where if you buy 5, you can get it for half price. I found
Sure.
it afterwards, or I would have bought all 5. I bought myself the one first, and now I'm like, oh, I would, yeah. So there's a 5, you can get it for 250 for the 5 of them instead of
Okay.
$99 a piece. So yeah, I'll
Awesome,
send you
man.
that
Yeah,
link.
please send me the link. I'm
Yeah.
happy to do that. I take every one of these assessments that I possibly can. So if anyone who's watching this and they have a favorite assessment, send it to me, right? Come drop it in the Slack
Good idea.
community, send it as an email, put it in the comments. I've taken a lot of these things. Every one of them makes me a little bit clearer on who I am and how I want to work. So drop
Yeah.
them in the comments.
Yeah.
Braden, if people want to come hang out with you and figure out what Hypersocial is working on, where should they go? Where would you like to send them?
Yeah. LinkedIn would be the number one spot is to go find me on LinkedIn, and I think I'm maxed on connection requests, so you'd have to give me a follow on the, or not on connection requests, but on connections. I think I'm at 29,000. I just deleted some. I'm
It's still 30K,
29,700.
right?
Yeah, I'm
30K
at
is your max. Yeah.
29,700 connections or something. So they're basically maxed out. So if you can get a connection request in, do it. But otherwise, just give me a follow there because I'll be posting more stuff. Or go to gohypersocial.com and see what we have going on. You can meet with our team, chat with us about what we have going on there, and we're trying to get more blog posts out on that
Okay.
side too. So the 2 best spots for sure.
Awesome. Braden, really appreciate you doing this, my friend. I do think it's going to help some founders. And I
Hope
also think
so.
it'll help some people who've been on the founding path for a while and might be having some struggles that they've not been able to kind of put their finger on or label
Yeah,
appropriately. So really appreciate
absolutely.
it, man.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me. This is fun.
Absolutely. We'll talk soon.